Hey, this is the American Samurai back again with another review for you. This time we're talking about spin-offs. Probably one of the more successful spin-offs of the Tick. The other ones being The Manning Cow and Chainsaw Vigilante. We're talking about my man, Paul the Samurai, today. This is a 13-issue comic. I'm going to try and keep this review a little more short than the other ones. With any luck, I should have the Big Blue Destiny one up. I may have to reshoot that one. I hope I don't, but we'll see. But this has the limited series run of Paul the Samurai, which introduces us to Vermin Coop, and in this one, the arch enemy is Reverend Billy and the Boilermen. Then the next series is basically the individual adventures of Paul the Samurai, leading up to the big crisis of on finite spin-off Tick spin-offs, which is a issues 9 through 10 of Paul the Samurai and issues 9 through 10 of the Manning Cow comics. Overall, I enjoy this series. The characters are really interesting, but what they try to do, I think, a little too much in this series. The Tick does appear like in before the spin-off thing. He shows up once in a flashback and once in the main story, the limited run, and then for the Infinite run, he shows up on actually in Japan. He and Arthur apparently went on vacation. Though we lost Arthur. Arthur is not, at least in the issues I read of the Paul the Samurai one, he's not in there. It's possibly in the Manning Cow one he is. I haven't read that one yet, but I'll look into that one. But overall, this was a good series. I highly enjoyed it and think that overall, the flavor, you get with Paul the Samurai, he's so grounded in Japanese religion and Oriental, and you meet his grandfather, who's kind of like the wise old Yoda, who apparently only he and the Tick can see, so I don't know, make your draws there. But overall, it was a really enjoyable comic. I think probably one of the funnier things was with the evil dogs. Here's a good one. When he goes in to investigate, the bad guy says, "Perhaps we have the dogs. Perhaps we have an opening. Won't you come in? Is that a sword you have?" And you can see here. He goes, "No, this is a Japanese spit. Watch, Banzai!" And the dog spits. I just think that's one of those kind of comedic things. You don't see him on comics like. And then we also introduced to during the limited series run, which was 3 comics. We were introduced to Paul's kind of superhero friends, the Red Pecker, H2O, and a few others. So overall, it was a really enjoyable series. But in the regular series, we were introduced to the Red Pecker's sister, who I think she really got the powers in the family, because she tends to be more violent. She's the Crested Grebe, and she becomes more of like a kind of a bio-vigilante type deal. And there are other characters that make their appearance that will show up I think later in the Tick series. I don't know if any of Paul's friends do, because we also have not just Paul Samurai, but Big Paul Bunyan and Babe. Basically a very Amazon type, statuesque type woman in a oxsuit. Beautiful but dangerous, as pretty much all women can be defined in the Tick's world, except for civilians, who are beautiful but possibly not dangerous, unless any of them went to the Tamil Nadu School of Self-Defense, which involves a loaded purse. But I digress. It was overall very interesting. Some of the enemies Paul faced, like Detroit Fury and a few others, just unique. And then you have this Japanese supposedly superheroes that are working with the bad guys, Yin Yang Man, Professor Banzai, and I forget the other guy, but he's like basically, have you ever seen the Godzilla movies? He's basically that guy who's military, and he speaks in dub. He's basically dubbed, so whenever he talks, it's dubbed. And he has the different abilities. Like the only main power I saw from what I read, was the fact that he could blow the whistle and you get the famous, Godzilla, we must flee the city! You know, the whole Godzilla stampede, he was actually able to use that as a weapon, which I thought was pretty cool. And the main villain, of course, is Sagan. Spoiler alert, he's still alive. At least, at the end of the series, I believe he gets killed again, but not by Paul the Samurai, who unfortunately cannot get his honor back, but by the man-eating cow. And I don't know if they would ever bring him, if they could bring him back from that. I think once you're in by the man-eating cow, it's kind of game over. But overall, this was a really good series. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend checking it out if you were curious about the Tick spin-offs. You can pick this up, like I said before, on sale from New England Comics. They're having a sale through December 2014. So yeah, this gets a 10 out of 10 for me. So that concludes my review of Paul the Samurai. Until next time, stay classy.